to get started on the panels for the dining room. What I'm hoping to do is we've got this really long piece of canvas that's 2 meters wide by 8 meters long. And I want to be able to lay it out so that I can paint it all, at least all the background in one go. And then all the details we can do once it's cut up. But I need space to be able to do that. So what I've decided is I've come up to the 3rd floor or 2nd floor, depending on what country you're from. And I'm going to clean the ever so scary cinema room that we've got. So if you haven't seen our video before, this chateau on the top floor had a cinema. You can see the screen behind me there. This side, there's actually a booth where the projector would sit. And then there was space for, I don't know, 20, 30 people in here to watch a film. There's actually a ticket booth on the main floor as well. But it has not been looked after for many years. And the spiders and all the wonderful creatures that live in a chateau have taken over. So I'm going to clean this space up, and then I can get the canvas down and I can start painting the canvas. But yeah, first task, get the vacuum out. Just to give you a bit of an idea of what I'm up against here. We haven't even bothered trying to get to these windows yet, as the cobwebs are rather pronounced and well established, but I think the vacuum should take a pretty quick job of those. But yeah, it's a nice space, and it's nicely lit in here, which is great. Should be great for doing the painting. But yeah, first things first, vacuum this floor. I have to figure out why there's a panel in here. Never noticed this one before. Oh my goodness. There is the mezzanine floor. Good to know. That was a little scary, I must admit. So these panels are, so I'm actually standing over top of the grand salon and the mezzanine level. So it's a long way down from here. The other theory of doing the painting up in this space is I can close the doors and the dogs won't be walking all over the canvas, because they will. Dexter particularly, if there's something on the floor that you don't want him to walk on, he will definitely walk on it. Anyhow, here we go with the cleaning. Well, it's coming out nicely. It's what a difference it makes. Makes it far less scary up here when there's no cobwebs, or, you know, not as creepy anyway. I've even managed to get the windows open, which is fantastic. You can get some nice fresh air in here because the weather outside today is absolutely lovely. So it's getting along. Starting to feel a lot more comfortable up here. So now we are going from something that looks like this, full of cobwebs and who knows what else, to something that looks more like this. Nice and tidy and fresh, windows open, and ready to start painting. There we go. Lovely view out to the park. The cinema room is all nice and tidy and ready for me to lay out the canvas and start painting. So here's the big, beautiful piece of canvas that we've got. So as you can see, it is 2 meters wide, and the length just keeps going and going and going all the way to 8 meters. It's going to be fabulous when it's done. But I must admit, looking at that, it's gonna be a lot of paint, a lot of work to get that painting, those panels done. But that's the joy of painting.
Hey everyone, Jen and I are going to get into a little bit of crafting when she gets back from walking Dexter. I've got this motley collection of lamps here, and some are less motley than others. So there's ones that, move this one over here to get my sorting correct. Okay, so there's ones we've picked up at Brocant's over the days and have been gifts from friends. And then there's ones that were left at the Chateau, and you can sort of see the difference in the theme of them. But I'm hoping that we can reuse some of the parts, maybe refinish some of the covers, get everything tidied up, and make at least 2 to 3 new pairs that we can use in the bedrooms. These are my prime candidates, I think. We've got a matching base here, but this guy needs a little bit of work on top. Weirdly, the outlet for that was wired right into the lampshade, which I don't think is standard, but it may just be a matter of unscrewing it for the lampshade for that matter. These were cute. We got these at Brocant, but obviously need to be recovered. And these we just got at Vertiac this week. They need a bit of a polish and they need some lampshades. Let's see what we can pull together. Well, we've got similar, but not quite the same. And each of them, I think, each of the shades I have are quite different. I don't think we can really quite make a pair out of any of them between the angles and the height. These are the closest. And they came off the matched brass base. But I think we may have to do some MIUs hunting. Meanwhile, Phil thinks he's almost done. Polishing a whole bunch of the finger rails for us, which is very kind. I wonder if you're feeling up to it, whether I might add a couple of brass lamp bottoms to the pile. Thank you very much. Phil is clearly into the vlogging because he's giving me before and after shots. Look at that, isn't that nice, the way that comes up? I know brass isn't everyone's taste, but I really quite like it. I find it nice and warm. Thank you very much, Phil. None of this delicate scissor business for you. She's just bare hand ripping it apart. It's very satisfying. I've lured Jan up to my sewing room, and we are going through some bits and bobs of fabric to decide what might work. We're focusing on the little tiny, what did we decide that was, Jan? Onyx?
Onyx.
Onyx, yeah. Right. I kept saying alabaster, but that wasn't right. We've got the seafoam green, but we decided no, too green.
Too much.
And then I was looking at the creams, and that was okay, but yeah. But then we've got the golds.
Yeah, I think the gold goes with this piece too.
Yeah. We are finding the pinning suspiciously difficult on the cotton wrapped frame, which is not focusing. There we are. But if you look really, really closely, if it'll let me, maybe not, it was glued as well as sewn. So Jan and I are each fiddling with one, trying to figure out what they did to make it work. I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, oh, you're definitely getting.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done half because that's how the other one was. They sewed 2 halves together. I think probably because of the bias, the way the bias continues to twist as you work it around a circle. Pretty happy with the tension. It's not quite as snug here as I would like, but maybe, Jen, you were saying pretty sure they'd glued just a little bit right in here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so maybe just
to
a
keep it
tiny little.
To keep it.
Yeah. But I think this is good enough to make a template from. And we'll go from there. one light reassembled new lampshade. Pretty happy with how that came out. It's a couple of little errors, but otherwise I think it's really cute.
We have been having days and days of rain here in southwestern France. And yeah, the water is now starting to actually flood in the valley here. The Réveil River, which runs by our property here, is usually just a trickle. In the summertime, it almost dries up completely, but I've never seen it this high. As you can see, this is the Roman bridge that's right in the middle of the village here. And the water is just cresting up to the arches. I don't know if you recall, we took photos here with Sasha in last fall, I guess it was, and you could see these arches clearly. In fact, I was standing maybe another 10 feet away from where I am now, where that water is. So yeah, and we're still getting rain, and we're supposed to get more rain this week, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. There's been a bit of notice about droughts and stuff coming this year to France, so we definitely need this rain, but wow, it's going to be wet here for a bit. Of course, the advantage is everything is greening up nicely with all this rain. The weather is nice and warm, and we're supposed to get warmer this week, so hopefully everything will bloom soon, which would be fantastic. So this is actually a field, believe it or not. But when the weather's like this, when it's raining so much, it becomes its own little lake. You see how much water is coming through here. The river has definitely gone over its banks. We're in no worry about our chateau flooding or anything like that. Our chateau is halfway up a hill, and the valley is designed to be a bit of a floodplain. So, you know, no worries about us. But and as I say, we need the water. So good to see it in the springtime, and hopefully it'll just bring the greens in. We may be getting a lot of rain, but there's a true sign of spring, and that's our cherry blossom. It's unfortunately suffered some damage over the years and lost a bit of its trunk, but the blossoms are starting to pop up, providing some beautiful color. They're so gorgeous. So you can see this is a cherry plum tree, and you can actually see right through it where the damage has happened. It's lost a big part of the tree, but it's still blooming. So I promised I would come back and see whether the daffodils were growing, and look at them all. Absolutely beautiful. There's hundreds and hundreds of them all the way through this side of the hill. Absolutely gorgeous. Definite sign of spring. Right, Mom?
Yep, I can see all the way up there.
Yeah. Springtime's here.
Beautiful, beautiful.
There you go, Mom's collecting a few to take back with us. Add some color. Aren't they beautiful? We'll take those home, pop them in a vase, brighten up the living room. We have woken up this morning to an absolutely glorious day. Dexter's thoroughly enjoying the sunshine. Hey, buddy? But all that rain has broken, and we got bright, bright sunshine this morning. Absolutely beautiful.